But even still today, either somebody gets it when I say it, and I love saying it. Is what do you do? You know, that's the standard and intro question. What do you do? And I make ping pong tables.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Out of concrete? Huh? I've always been interested in creativity as an intellectual process and as how does this work? How do people come up with off the wall ideas? And yeah, what can we do given the limitations? So show me the limitations, because that's where we're going to start.
So we're starting a new series on Essential Craftsman. It's called Shop and Story. And Lem James and his business of Stone Age
Concrete games.
Stone Age Concrete Games is the first installment, even though it's the third time he's been on the channel. So Lem, you make games out of concrete for public spaces, mostly.
Right, so it started out with concrete ping pong tables. Many years ago, I was in Germany in a walk in the park, and there was a concrete ping pong table, and I was just like lightly jealous. I want to play ping pong at my park by my house, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's really as far as it went, except I was fascinated with it. I found them, I hunted them down. We were visiting family.
The manufacturer.
No, I hunted down like different schools and parks where they were. And I was just like, this is fascinating. I've never seen this. How can it be such a small world where we have, you know, the same cars and the same roofs and the same, everything's kind of standardized, and yet we don't have this anywhere in America, a concrete ping pong table. But then I didn't do anything with it for years.
So what year was that when you saw those tables?
Oh, wow. Maybe 95.
Okay.
1995, maybe.
Okay, all right, so you were a young man.
Yeah.
And you put it in the back of your mind, and you moved forward into a career that included, what? It included cabinet work?
Cabinet work, building some houses, building cellular telephone towers.
Cell towers are a big rough deal, man. I mean, there was a boom, right?
Yeah, it was a boom. We were on remote mountaintops. Sometimes we were in urban settings on top of a building, or maybe we're on a remote mountaintop. But it was a boom at the time, and we were building a lot of them all up the West Coast.
And the concrete that you poured there was measured in hundreds of cubic yards and was just dumped into a hole with lots of rebar, tamped down with your boot and covered up with dirt.
Yes, a lot of it. So we were doing either slabs on grade to put a communication shelter on, or tower foundations, what you're talking about, where it's just eventually buried and all that sticks up is the tower leg connection point.
And it never crossed your mind that you would be pouring concrete essentially with a toothbrush and a spoon and some sandpaper to make it perfect.
Right, we're doing such small pours here that it just, I mean, even a regular sidewalk guy or driveway guy is pouring as much concrete as we pour in a week on Monday morning.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and if you go back and look at the video of the tour of his shop, you'll see that it is an incredibly highly finished concrete product that comes into existence through the same processes as happen on freeway bridges or any other really big, heavy concrete work, boiled down and made perfect. Is that about right?
That's right. It's a cross between a freeway bridge and a concrete countertop.
That's right. That's right. So I got some questions. And you can either answer them or ignore them and just send me on down the road. But you started pouring in your carport. How did it start? What was the genesis of, gosh, let's make them one of those tables that I saw so long ago?
So my immediate previous job, I was a construction manager for a Parks and Rec company, and we built restroom buildings and restroom building kits.
Yeah.
And so I really then had a pretty good understanding of the Parks and Rec market and like the trade shows and the different manners of selling. So anyway, I got laid off from there during the last recession, 2009. And we were playing ping pong at a buddy's house, and my oldest son said, "Dad, you should make those concrete ping pong tables like you always talk about from Europe."
Because your son had heard you talking about those.
Yeah, I've told him about them.
When he wasn't even alive yet.
Many times. So, but they always stuck with me that that's a good idea, and why haven't, like, it was kind of a flash in the pan moment. Well, how can this exist and we've never thought of it, or we've never even brought it over here? And
all these years later, they're still not here.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. And so you just set up in your garage and started doing it.
Yeah. So, like I said, I saw it. I saw how to market it. I saw how to build it. I could see the whole picture as far as the business goes, and we made forms. We made a napkin sketch the first weekend we discussed it. He took it to the high school and put it on AutoCAD, and we started building it in the carport.
Wow. mixing it in a little drum mixer and
The
pouring it
first, the first table we mixed with shovels and a wheelbarrow.
out. Shovels in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah,
Getting it done.
and then when I got a little drum mixer, we put over $1 million of sales through a little drum mixer.
That's
Over
awesome.
6 years, you know.
I don't know of any other drum mixer on the planet that's had $1 million of sales come out of it.
Right, but it's possible. Somebody could make beautiful goblets, or somebody could make something I've never thought of.
Concrete, magic concrete.
Magic concrete.
So how has your day-to-day changed from then, when you're mixing in a drum mixer and you're pouring the tables and you're ripping the melamine and you're building this? How has your day-to-day changed now? You've just toured me through a shop with your employees, knowing the moves. How's your day different now from how it was then?
I mean, my day, back then I was troweling, and then I was on Facebook doing internet marketing, and then I was troweling again because the concrete's at that ready for it. And, you know, sometimes I was troweling at 10 at night. We weren't heating the concrete back then. I didn't have all my additives dialed in back then to get it. But we weren't making dozens of tables at a time either.
Sure.
We were making one at a time, and at the very first, we were just making some prototypes to see what we could do.
Yeah.
And to have something to show before I sold it. So it was more intermittent. Now it's, I mean, I work a 9-to-5 job basically for myself.
You're running a business now.
Yeah, we're running a business, and I haven't troweled concrete in 5 years probably.
See? And
I mean, I have, but it's like for
incidental.
fun, incidental.
Yeah, for fun, just getting in the way.
It's
a little
showing
bit.
someone how to do something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not, getting in the way.
And so we've met your son Pierce, who's become integral to your operation. He started when he was 12. You mentioned that he did the AutoCAD on that table, but he's been
Josh did the AutoCAD.
Josh
his,
did the
his older
AutoCAD.
brother, and
His
Josh
older-
isn't here today. His baby's 6.
Okay, so you've had 2 sons involved with this.
3.
3.
Well,
Congratulations, man.
That's honestly the coolest part of the business to me as a dad is having the impact this has had for my whole family.
Yeah.
Is my kids, my stepkids, I mean, a lot of people, and then my friends and the workers who become friends. You
Yeah.
know, everybody. It's had a big impact for all of us.
It's wow.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle change completely.
Yeah.
There's a ton. I look around here. You've got a ton of money invested in scaling this up from just doing it in the garage with the table saw and the wheelbarrow and the shovel, scaling it up. How did you go through that difficult process of growth and scaling? Was that as hard with this niche as it is for the standard construction guy who has to go from him and a helper to him and 10 guys, do you think?
I would say one of the reasons why it was such an enthusiastic yes when the idea first was floated was because I knew that the scale of the individual products was pretty small.
Yes.
And so I knew I could make a concrete ping pong table with a barrel mixer and some forms that I could build in a day.
Yeah.
And then I could refine the process. So scaling up, once we got, it probably took 5 tables before I had a product that I felt we could put in front of the public.
Yes.
And then we did put it in front of the public, and we donated one to the school, and we took them to events, and we did all the hustling. So yeah, I mean, it was a different animal back then. Back then it was approving a concept, and now it's a manufacturing plant.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you had to do the whole bit about finding the money to scale up and payroll and managing the orders and the cash flow and the deposits and the accounts receivable, and it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard.
It's
and
hard.
When we started, Kendra and sales was purely commission. We would get paid, she would get paid.
Yes, yes.
That was how it was. There wasn't a bank account.
Yes.
There was we pay for this table, I get paid, you get paid, and we make rent.
Wow.
you know.
Wow.
So and you go from there to 10 guys, and I mean, you know, sometimes you wish it was back to simple.
Sometimes that earlier
Because
life looks pretty good.
10 employees, 12 employees, then, you know, you're making all the payroll for all those guys.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
hard.
an immense amount of an honor.
It's an honor.
To be able to do that. But some weeks you're scraping, and some
man.
weeks you're celebrating.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So have you had naysayers along the way? Were there people, were there friends, were there family members who were saying, what are you doing, man? You've had good jobs. What are you doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially at first. But even still today, either somebody gets it when I say it, and I love saying it. Is like, what do you do? You know, that's the standard in intro question. What do you do? And I make ping pong tables.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Out of concrete? Huh? They've never heard of it. And so I love reframing people's. And then when I say the words for parks and schools, usually the light bulb turns on by then. And either they're like, I don't think that'll work, or they're like, that's genius.
Yeah. One or the other.
And one or the other. And people are like, well, because somebody could hit their head on it. Well, the whole world is made out of rocks. You know what I mean? You can hit your head on a sidewalk or a car.
Sure.
There's plenty of ways to injure yourself, but this isn't. It's not normal to hurt yourself.
It's not normal on these.
Playing these, yeah.
You know, there are. We have a factory made aluminum and steel and plastic, and there are just as many ways to cut yourself and hurt yourself on this as the beautiful products I've seen you make. And this one is going to end up in a dump someday, and yours is not going to end up in a dump until you and I are long dead.
Yeah. So my favorite comment anyone ever made was, future generations will know of our glory. He's talking about architects uncovering these, and I'm like, wow, that's a cool idea.
So have you had reversals? So setbacks and reversals and stubbing your toe. Have you had setbacks or crap moments in your business of your development, or has it just been one unbroken incline of increasing success?
I think that there's built-in setbacks in everything all the time.
Yeah.
There's always a fire. There's always something that happens. We get maybe a truck breaks down and doesn't deliver on time, or a forklift driver forks it, and now it's an emergency to make your 8-week product and get these guys a replacement next week.
Yeah.
Somehow you got to make.
Hurry.
Yeah, we prioritize that because they paid for it, and they need their product, and they need it to be prime.
Sure.
Yeah.
But for instance, your batch plant, it came from Denmark.
Yeah.
That was a major logistic consideration to find it and identify it and meet those people and then get it over here and set it up.
It was a years-long process.
Okay, with lots of opportunities for catastrophe in there, right?
I mean, risk and reward is completely connected.
It's completely connected.
It's complete. If you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone over time, consistently, you won't move forward.
Did you hear that, young guys? If you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone over time and consistently, you will not move forward. But our society's become so risk adverse, we've almost given up the ability to move forward, right?
I think that as a general rule, you could see that picture, but there's always individuals who are taking a risk.
That's right.
And some of them succeed and some of them fail. And that's not even necessarily a good indicator. It's whether it was a well-calculated risk.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And if you learned something significant, well, it wasn't really a loss anyway, right?
No, you learned it.
Move forward, you learned it.
Well, and that's what we said, expert, right?
Yeah.
What's an expert? They've made all the mistakes, and I've made all the mistakes you can make making a concrete ping pong table.
Wow.
I've made them.
Wow. Okay, so now I've got my tongue firmly in my cheek here. How's the money?
Some days it's great, and some days it's stressful. I mean,
Yeah.
If I could have an even product flow where I could predict the orders,
Right.
and tell you what's going to be happening this week or next week and the week after that, then it would be great. But it's sales aren't completely predictable, and then we do a lot of online marketing.
Sure.
So this time of year, that all changes because people are pouring billions of dollars into ads for their product to try and make Christmas sales.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So my effectiveness of my ads goes way down.
Right, you're buried.
So then now we're running email specials and this and that. So the money, if we sell a table and make a table, is pretty good.
Just right.
Right. But the money, if we have 2 slow months in a row and we've got our lease to pay and our guys to pay, and
So interesting.
right. So then when it's great and when it's even, then it's great. And when it's not, you figure out how to do bank financing, and you figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's so interesting because, like we've commented here this morning, it's concrete. Concrete is familiar to every construction geek, me being one. And now I hear you saying that the feast and famine aspect of a construction life followed the concrete right into the concrete game world.
Yeah, I don't know. We have steady growth over the years. COVID was a pretty big blip where we stayed flat, but we still sold the same as the previous year.
Okay.
So for 2 years we stayed flat, and then we started growing again. So we do have growth involved, but there's growing pains with that too.
Sure,
you know?
growth is painful.
Yeah. So a big step for us just in the last 2 years was adding health insurance. Well, that adds another $6,000 bill to the business.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's all. I mean, it's not all, hey, Lem sells an expensive ping pong table.
Right.
It's like we've got to rebuild this forklift, and we've got the boom truck needs maintenance, and
Overhead's a big deal, man.
yeah,
It's
certainly,
a big deal.
certainly,
You have in your mind now a pretty good idea of who your customers are.
yeah.
Who are they? Who are you selling to? Who buys
So-
these beautiful things?
I'm gonna say the big picture, and then I'll break it down a little. The big picture is people who are paid to make an entertainment or a park-like space for other people.
I see.
So those people might include a parks director, but they also, we sell to a lot of apartment buildings because they are providing amenity for their customers. They're building a park-like area for their customers to play. And and then we sell a lot of schools because they've got lunch and they've got recess, and the kids need something to do that's a physical outlet that's fun, that brings them together, they're laughing, they're having a good time, and that's a necessity. So we sell the Army, the MWR, which is Morale, Welfare, and Recreation. The Air Force, same thing, same kind of thing. Any place where people gather outside, and we can turn a boring concrete or grass area into a cool playground where everybody plays. And it's the neat thing about our products is it's not like a slide and a swing set where usually it caps out around age 10.
Yeah.
Right? But you can have 70-year-old guys, gals playing ping pong at the park, playing chess at the park definitely is not, you know, after you're 6 you can play chess until forever, as long as you can walk.
As long as you can see and walk.
Yeah, as long as you can get to the table.
So how do you find these people? How do you market to these people?
Well, we had a really good run on Facebook. When I started the business in 2010 was not that far from when Facebook very first started offering paid advertising.
Oh, yeah.
So before they offered paid advertising, I would be on Facebook until I got blocked. And I would go on the landscape architect page and I would post a couple pictures and a clever saying. And I would do that 150 times or whatever until I got blocked. And I'd come back 2 days later and do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah, and so then when paid advertising came on, I'm already making all this content. And it wasn't just that, it was also keeping up my Facebook page with regular posts. But then when paid advertising came, I just immediately started testing the waters. And I could put $5 into it and see which one worked. And so once one of them started to get a lot of engagement, or we started to get contact forms filled out, well, that one's working. I'm gonna put some more money on it. And so, I mean, we spent a substantial amount.
You paid your dues, man.
We paid our dues by doing the content, and we paid our dues over time. We've have a pretty big marketing budget with those guys.
So
but it's lost effectiveness. So
Oh.
somewhat because of getting lost in the crowd now.
Oh, yeah,
everybody does it now. And we started out when it was young. Now there's a 15-page complicated process to a Facebook ad, you know, to doing it right. And so, you know, we've expanded past that. Over the years, we've always done some level of trade shows. But trade shows got frustrating too because we're shipping concrete to these trade shows, which is, you know, not inexpensive, and it's also a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And coordination. And so I just found it so much more effective to spend my money online and to touch a broader audience, but also it's important for people to put their hands on my product
Yeah.
and to play with my product. That's my very favorite, is to go to a trade show with a ping pong table and cornhole, and just it's a line of people playing.
Yeah.
They're in line to play with us.
Boom.
And play with your customers,
Yeah.
and they're your customers. I mean,
Playful concrete, is that what how you call it? Playing?
yeah, so our concrete is all games. So the way that you interact with our concrete is different than walking on it.
Yep.
It's different than even a kitchen countertop, which concrete's always been a very utilitarian
Yep.
base commodity product.
Yeah.
And we're turning it into games where people are playing foosball, people are laughing, people are playing cornhole, and so they're interacting with concrete in a playful manner, and they're actually interacting with each other, but the concrete's facilitating
It's
it. You know?
What a niche. So how often do your products sell themselves? How often does somebody come to you and say, hey, I saw one of yours in this space or that, and I have does that happen?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to be rare, and now it's common.
Now that's growing
Yeah,
at a
now it's
bigger
common.
market share.
And I always thought when I started it, I was like, this is going to go viral. Well, turns out concrete doesn't go viral the same way as internet memes, but it does over a long haul.
Yeah.
It does create its own attention.
It's like pushing a train, right? You got to push really
You
hard
gotta-
for a while.
You got to start a train. You got to start
and
concrete
once
for
it's
a while.
rolling. Huh.
Yeah, and so it does carry its own weight and momentum to some extent.
So how do you stay creative? How do you innovate? How do you keep, for your own satisfaction and to create new market share, how does that happen for you here?
So as a business, we stay creative by keeping our ears open. We work with enough designers and stuff that people sometimes float wild ideas, and we like to say yes if we can, or join the brainstorming session and say, well, if we did it like this, we get close. What do you think? What are your ideas? And so I mean, out of that, we now build so many games: Chinese checkers and ladder toss,
And backgammon. You said backgammon.
backgammon, chess. I never had the idea to build a concrete domino table. That came from a customer, and it turns out that there's a community, and especially like Florida and Cuban Americans, and the East Coast to some extent. There's a community of people who take these beautiful domino tables to the park and play dominoes. And usually the tables are colorful and they have interesting pictures or designs on them. But somebody saw those and said, well, could we do it out of concrete? And so now we do domino tables.
Yes, we can do that out of concrete.
Yeah, and it's super fun. The table has a little ledge that holds your pieces so the other guy can't see them.
Wow.
They have a cup holder. We did a poker table because an apartment or a HOA in Las Vegas called and asked if we could do a poker table. So we did this giant 7 or 8 foot octagon poker table with cast-in chip trays and drink holders. And yeah, so the creative process comes from listening, hearing, interpreting, bouncing ideas back and forth with each other. I mean, we've got a list. I think even we've always got a list of what could we do this, could we do that?
That's terrific. That's refreshing. So people would be astounded if they knew how many things you make here. Give us a list of the products that you make out of concrete.
Okay, so our concrete game started with ping pong. We talked about that. Then the customers asked for chess. That's been done in the United States before. So we have ping pong and chess. My buddy called me and said, hey, Lem, you should make cornhole. And I'm like, what's cornhole? So he brought cornhole boards over. We played. Now it's huge. We've been doing it for well over a decade. And we sell by just product numbers, we sell more cornhole than anything else.
Really?
And foosball, somebody sent me a picture of a foosball table because they were in France and taking a picture of a concrete ping pong table and it had foosball table. So there's our next product. So then we're like, what else can we do with foosball? So we made a double foosball table with twice as many rods, 16 rods instead of 8. So you can play 4 guys on each side.
Chaos.
Right, and then I saw a picture in Europe of round ping pong tables with 4-way nets. So we do round 4-way ping pong. And then we've done 12-foot and 16-foot shuffleboard tables. that are a one piece. That's our most precision product is our shuffleboard table.
Do you know how much that weighs? That's got to be heavy.
$4,000
$4,000.
without the legs.
Yeah, steal that if you can.
We use 2 forklifts to pick up our 16-foot
Yeah.
Shuffleboard tables.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we've done ladder ball, Chinese checkers, dominoes tables, backgammon, and anything that's a game. We've done one giant poker table. That was a fun project, but we still have the forms. We haven't done it again yet. Box hockey. I used to work at a little camp in Washington, and they had these box hockey games. They were made out of wood with a metal floor, and they have goals, and they have kind of a maze. You got to play against it. And it's a frenetic game. It's so much fun. And so I always wanted to do box hockey. And then about a year ago, we went ahead and built box hockey, and we sold several of those. And they're frenetic fun. People just are having a blast when they're playing that.
Wow. That's a
I used to spend hours. Yeah, so we started with one product, and another thing, and just in business in general, I always have a tendency to say yes.
Yeah.
If your
Don't
customer
turn away
asks,
work.
Your customer asks for something, say yes, and
Yeah.
then figure it out.
Then figure it out.
Just say yes when it's possible.
Yeah.
If
Every
it's
time we
impossible,
can.
come up with some more ideas.
Gosh, that's great.
Yeah. I like to study. I like to read books about creativity and books about creative people. So
Okay, so that explains quite a bit, because there's a lot of creativity going on around here, and you have been interested in that.
I've always been interested in creativity as an intellectual process, and as how does this work? How do people come up with off-the-wall ideas? And yeah.
So continuing to drill down on this, what are some of the things that you do to keep your creative juices flowing? What would you point at? You mentioned reading, right?
Yeah,
you read
yeah.
about that. What do you do to keep your creativity peaking?
There's a great book called A Whack on the Side of the Head.
Okay.
And it's all about the creative process and what if we did it backwards? What if we did it forwards? What else would work? These kind of questions, you build them into into the way you think. And what else would work? What would I do if I had to use half the budget? All these what ifs, and stay away from the one answer.
Yes.
Like this life isn't math.
Yes.
There's an infinite amount of answers, and what we're looking for is not a correct answer. We're looking for an elegant solution.
Oh, man. An elegant solution, yeah.
Right? So we're not looking for all the ways we can make the walls of a house stand up. We're looking for a way. We're going to think through a bunch of ways, but then we're going to looking for a way that makes sense and makes it cool.
Right now, with the resources we have and the time we have and the budget we have,
Right.
what's the way we can get it, enjoy the process and make it cool?
And the other thing I love to do is show me the obstacles.
Yeah.
And my dad had one arm. My dad had polio when he was 5. His left arm would just hang here. He could barely move his fingers. And with having that impediment, he would not let it slow him down. He was a fisherman. He was a rifle hunter. He tried bow hunting for a while, but he would definitely shoot his bow recreationally. And so how do you do that with one hand? Well, some people use their mouth. My dad figured out a way to put a stirrup on his bow, and he would sit on the ground and aim with his leg.
Wow.
So some of my creative process even goes way back to that. It's like, what can we do given the limitations? So show me the limitations, because that's where we're going to start.
That's what we
show
have
me
to,
the limitations.
That's what we have to overcome. I've thought of this as the skill of being able to suspend a problem in your brain and rotate it and look at it from every different angle.
Yeah.
And don't stop doing that. Just because you've committed yourself to one process, don't stop rotating this problem, because there may be something that comes up from a perspective that you haven't seen yet.
Right. Well, and that's when these guys, this big order of foosball tables that is coming through today, when they said, can you do this in this time frame? Well, if you look at the one form we have done and in manufacturing process, no, we can't even come close. We can get that done by May with our other workload, but then when we make doubles, we make them each time out of melamine. Well, we can just as easily. So now we're going to do this process. We'll probably make a third of the tables through our one set of forms, and we will make the rest of the forms one-time use, and we'll have this thing done.
So
it's what can you do given the current limitations?
Not what you can't do, but what can argue for what you can do.
Right.
Instead of argue for your
and
weakness.
ask what ifs and ask what ifs and ask what ifs. Don't stop asking what ifs.
Boy, that's good.
Not even when you're halfway through.
So what you guys may not know if you haven't watched the shop side of the shop story series on this particular visit, is that while we were here, they got an order for 17 cornhole foosball, right? Foosball tables to go to Dubai, right?
Yeah.
Air freight to Dubai, but they need it like yesterday would have been best. And so what he's talking about is how to improvise, because they're geared up for turning out one at a time, and he's going to gear up for turning out 17 at a time.
Quickly, yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
He's not afraid. That's a big thing. Don't be afraid.
Don't be too afraid. Work through the fear. Sometimes you just work through the. Yeah, that's a great thing too. Be afraid and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because nothing happens if you paralyze yourself with your thinking.
You know, John Wayne's quote, "Courage is being afraid and saddling up anyway."
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, and keeping in mind that some number of the people that are watching this want to lean into entrepreneurship, want to lean into doing something, thinking new thoughts, what would you say to somebody who really, really wants to bring something to the table of life, both for their own welfare and career and advancement, and for what you just described, a creative outlet and exercise? What would you say to that person who's listening to your journey and thinking, what is the takeaway, Lem? What do I need to think about on the front end of my journey?
Bootstrap it. Try to do it and prove your concept to yourself. Way back early in the process, I was tempted to try and get business loans, business grants, and what you realize is then somebody else owns your business.
Somebody else owns you.
Somebody else owns you, and now you have this giant payment to pay, and you haven't proved your concept.
Yeah.
So prove your concept. Make it in a wheelbarrow. Prove your concept to other people, so other people are like, yeah, how do I buy this? How do I get this? Now, I'm not saying that it's not smart to start with money.
Sure.
But I'm saying that anything you do before you prove your concept is going to be a sunk cost. It's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Right. And so when the temptation is, I need $100,000 to start this business. No, you need
don't.
energy. Energy is substitutable for money. Money is just a shortcut.
That's
if
right.
you don't have your concept proven, then I've seen several people make a concept and put a bunch of money into it, but they never started selling it, and then they ended up folding it before
They built their overhead and it crushed their output.
Before they started.
Before
right?
they were done. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's wisdom. That's wisdom, guys. If you heard him, if you're listening to what he said, that's real wisdom. Make it in a wheelbarrow.
But
I got to put that on a T-shirt. You ought to put that on a T-shirt. Okay, Stone Age games, make it in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, and we don't anymore.
I
But
know.
the first one
You did.
seriously, yeah.
All right, so what's on the horizon for your Stone Age enterprise? What 5 years down the road, what do you see your business doing?
I mean, just growing in scope, but mostly growing in. Most of that's going to come, I think, through marketing.
Yeah.
Just recentering our marketing and finding the ways that it works. Some of it may come through AI. Some of it may come through marketing firms, AI firms, and there's such complicated ways to show people your stuff. But a lot of it's going to come through also just going to trade shows, taking the concrete games and playing with people.
Bootstraps.
And a lot of it's going to come from people seeing our stuff and having interest in it.
Wow.
So yeah, we've traditionally done 30 to 40% growth a year.
Wow.
Which is a lot, but also we've got a lot of capacity for it.
You do.
We've been building. When we bought the batch plant, we didn't buy it for next year. We bought it for 20 years from now.
Wow.
So we use the batch plant. I mean, while you guys have been here, we ran it for an hour. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's not. We can run it for 5 hours.
Yeah.
we
might
we
as
just
well
have to have the manpower and the forms, and it's a simple product-based business as far as the business goes. The key thing is just reaching people, telling
So you're
people
going to
about
scale
it.
this. You plan on scaling this by reaching what is a large market that you've only tapped the edges of so far.
Right. Right.
Lem, what a pleasure. I've learned a lot from you today, and not just about really heavy fiber in a mix, not just that. Not just about creativity, but bootstraps, mix it in a wheelbarrow, treat your people the way you want to be treated. Your morale here is good, your product is good. It's a pleasure to know you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I hope that you have learned half as much here as I have. And I hope that you think about this from time to time when you're beginning to think about bringing your own idea to the market. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.